An e-commerce business wants to evenly distribute incoming user requests among its Amazon EC2 instances that host a website. Which AWS service should the company use? Correct answer: Application Load Balancer. Explanation: Application Load Balancer automatically distributes incoming traffic across multiple EC2 instances, improving scalability, reliability, and availability of applications. Why others are incorrect? AWS WEF protects applications from web attacks, not traffic distribution. AWS Direct Connect provides a dedicated network connection between on-premises and AWS, not load balancing. AWS Cloud HSM offers hardware security modules for cryptographic key management, unrelated to traffic distribution. A company requires a private, dedicated connection with consistent low latency from its on-premises data center to AWS. Which service provides this capability? Correct answer: AWS Direct Connect. Explanation: AWS Direct Connect provides a dedicated network link between on-premises environments and AWS with low latency and consistent bandwidth. Why others are incorrect? Kinesis data streams used for streaming data ingestion, not networking. OpenSearch Service managed search and analytics service, not for network connectivity. VPC lets you define a private cloud network in AWS but doesn't provide a dedicated physical connection. An e-commerce company needs to run its application on multiple EC2 instances in a highly available setup. How should the EC2 instances be deployed? Correct answer: across multiple availability zones. Explanation: Deploying EC2 instances across multiple availability zones ensures high availability. If one AZ fails, instances in other AZs continue serving traffic. Why others are incorrect? Multiple AWS accounts used for management and billing separation, not for high availability. Multiple VPCs adds network isolation, not redundancy by itself. Edge locations used for caching with CloudFront, not hosting applications directly. A company wants to find security group configurations that allow unrestricted access to port. Which AWS service provides this check? Correct answer: AWS Trusted Advisor. Explanation: Trusted Advisor provides best practice checks, including identifying overly permissive security group. Why others are incorrect? Guard Duty detects suspicious activity, not misconfigured resources. Health Dashboard provides service health status, not configuration analysis. CloudWatch monitors metrics and logs, not misconfigurations. A business wants to design an application entirely using microservices. Which AWS architecture principle supports this? Correct answer: decouple components. Explanation: Decoupling breaks applications into smaller, independent components, improving scalability and fault tolerance. Why others are incorrect? Think parallel refers to parallel execution, not microservices. Implement elasticity refers to scaling resources, not application decomposition. Stop guessing capacity refers to on-demand provisioning, not microservices. Which AWS service continuously monitors AWS resource configurations for compliance and change tracking? Correct answer. AWS config. Explanation. AWS config tracks changes in resource configurations and checks compliance against rules. Why others are incorrect. Service catalog used to manage curated services, not compliance monitoring. Artifact provides compliance reports, not continuous monitoring. Organizations used for account management, not configuration tracking. A company is migrating multiple applications into a single AWS account and wants to track costs per application. What should it use? Correct answer. Cost allocation tags. Explanation. By assigning tags to resources, companies can track and allocate costs per application, project, or department. Why others are incorrect. Artifact provides compliance documentation, not cost allocation. Budgets in Cost Explorer helps track total spend but not per application breakdown. Invoiced billing provides invoices, not application-level cost separation. Which AWS well-architected framework pillar covers the shared responsibility model? Correct answer. Security. Explanation. The shared responsibility model defines AWS and customer responsibilities for securing workloads, which belongs to the security pillar. Why others are incorrect. Reliability focuses on workload recovery and redundancy. Performance efficiency focuses on scaling and resource optimization. Operational excellence focuses on monitoring and improving processes. An application is hosted on multiple EC2 instances. The company wants high availability and path-based routing with minimal setup effort. Which load balancer should it use? Correct answer. Application Load Balancer. Explanation. YLB supports path-based routing, perfect for web applications. Why others are incorrect. OpsWorks LB not a valid AWS load balancer. Custom LB on EC2 requires heavy maintenance. Network LB handles TCP UDP traffic efficiently but doesn't support path-based routing. Which AWS service helps break monolithic applications into loosely coupled microservices by using message queues? Correct answer. Amazon SQS. Explanation. Amazon SQS decouples application components via message queues, allowing microservices to work independently. Why others are incorrect. CloudWatch used for monitoring and logs, not decoupling. Lightsail simplified VPS hosting, not microservices. Direct Connect networking service, not app architecture. A retail company wants to use only the resources needed to handle current traffic, avoiding over-provisioning. Which cloud benefit does this demonstrate? Correct answer. Scalability. Explanation. Scalability allows you to increase or decrease resources based on demand, ensuring you only provision what is required at a given time. Why others are incorrect. High availability focuses on uptime and minimizing downtime, not adjusting resources. Global reach refers to AWS worldwide infrastructure, not scaling. Reliability ensures workloads run correctly and recover, not scaling resources dynamically. A user wants a quick check to identify Amazon EC2 instances that have unrestricted ports open to prevent malicious activities. Which AWS service is best for this? Correct answer. AWS Trusted Advisor. Explanation. Trusted Advisor provides real-time recommendations, including identifying security risks like overly permissive security group. Why others are incorrect. AWS CloudTrail tracks API calls, not port restrictions. VPC flow logs captures traffic flow, not misconfiguration alert. AWS WEF protects against web attacks, not EC2 port access issues. 4. Enterprise-level AWS support, who handles billing and account-related inquiries. Correct answer. AWS Concierge Support Team. Explanation. The AWS Concierge Team provides account and billing assistance for enterprise support customers. Why others are incorrect. AWS Partner Network Partner offers consulting or solutions, not billing. AWS Solutions Architect provides technical guidance, not billing. AWS Marketplace Seller vendor-specific support only. A company wants to use existing per-socket or per-core Windows licenses on AWS. Which EC2 option supports this? Correct answer. Dedicated hosts. Explanation. Dedicated hosts give visibility and control over physical servers, required for bring your own license. Why others are incorrect. Reserved instances pricing model only, no licensing control. Spot instances cost optimize spare capacity, not license flexibility. Dedicated instances isolated at hardware level but no license tracking. Which AWS service helps encrypt objects stored in Amazon S3? Correct answer. AWS KMS. Explanation. AWS KMS manages encryption keys for S3 and other AWS services. Why others are incorrect. Secrets Manager manages credentials, not S3 encryption. Resource Access Manager shares resources, unrelated to encryption. ACM issues SSL TLS certs, not S3 object encryption. A retailer wants to process and analyze clickstream data in real time from its website. Which AWS service is the best fit? Correct answer. Amazon Kinesis. Explanation. Amazon Kinesis is built for real-time ingestion and analysis of streaming data, such as clickstreams. Why others are incorrect. AWS Data Exchange for sharing third-party dataset. Athena SQL queries on S3 data, not real-time streams. CloudFront CDN for content delivery, not analytic. Which AWS service provides a fully managed NFS file system that integrates with compute services? Correct answer. Amazon EFS. Explanation. Amazon EFS is a scalable, managed NFS file system for EC2 and other compute resources. Why others are incorrect. Glacier Flexible Retrieval Archival Storage, not file system. EBS block storage for single instance, not shared NFS. Storage Gateway Tape Hybrid Backup, not NFS file system. After several acquisitions, a company wants centralized control of all AWS accounts. Which service should it use? Correct answer. AWS Organizations. Explanation. AWS Organizations manages multiple accounts, provides consolidated billing, and applies policies. Why others are incorrect. Systems Manager for operational tasks, not account management. Workspaces Virtual Desktop. Security Hub centralized security findings, not account control. A company wants to run EC2 instances close to users worldwide. Which AWS infrastructure feature supports this? Correct answer. AWS Regions. Explanation. Regions are geographical locations where AWS provides compute services like EC2. Why others are incorrect. Regional edge caches be edge locations for content delivery, not EC2 hosting. Availability zones provide redundancy within a region, not global placement. Applications need to send messages between each other reliably. Which AWS service should they use? Correct answer. Amazon SQS. Explanation. Amazon SQS is a fully managed message queue for decoupled communication. Why others are incorrect. Kinesis for real-time streaming analytics, not basic messaging. Yelby distributes traffic, not messaging. Auto-scaling adjusts resources, not messaging. A database app has simple login but needs more secure user management for personal data. Which AWS service should be used? Correct answer. Amazon Cognito. Explanation. Cognito provides user sign-up, sign-in, and access control with secure authentication. Why others are incorrect. Secrets Manager stores credentials, not user auth system. Security groups control traffic, not user identity. Guard duty threat detection, not user management. A web app on EC2 needs to distribute HTTP traffic across all instances. Which AWS load balancer fits this? Correct answer. Application Load Balancer. Explanation. Yelby works at layer 7 and distributes traffic based on application logic. Why others are incorrect. Gateway LB for third-party virtual appliances, not web traffic. Auto-scaling adds removes instances but doesn't balance traffic. NLB works at layer 4, not ideal for HTTP routing. A company wants to deploy apps quickly without managing the underlying infrastructure. Which AWS service should it choose? Correct answer. AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Explanation. Elastic Beanstalk deploys applications while handling provisioning and management of resources automatically. Why others are incorrect. EC2 provides servers but requires full management. Config resource compliance tracking, not app deployment. Personalize machine learning for recommendations. A company wants auto-scaling to adjust EC2 instances based on CPU utilization. Which AWS service triggers this scaling? Correct answer. Amazon CloudWatch alarms. Explanation. CloudWatch alarms monitor metrics like CPU utilization and can trigger auto-scaling policies. Why others are incorrect. SQS message queue, not monitoring. SNS sends notifications, not scaling triggers. Systems Manager ops management, not scaling event. A company designed AWS infrastructure efficiently and continuously improves its processes. Which well-architected pillar does this align with? Correct answer: operational excellence. Explanation: operational excellence emphasizes running workloads effectively and continually improving operations. Why others are incorrect? Security protects data and systems. Cost optimization focuses on spending. Performance efficiency focuses on system performance.